Tonight, we're talking about Jurassic World Rebirth. We're going to talk about Beyond the Gates, probably some other things, all that and more. I am Brad Jost, and this is Let's Talk Jurassic. That's the wrong button, but we'll hit this button. What's going on, everybody? If you didn't know, I am just so bad at this. I'm hitting wrong buttons. I'm bringing in the intro weird. It's all good. That's what happens here on the Jurassic Park Podcast live stream. Anyway, we've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight, and we've got a usual guest here for the show. So let's go ahead and just dive into some things real quick here. Before we do that, let's go over to the website, which I already showcased. There you go. Jurassic World Rebirth. I talked about the latest news, which we'll touch on some of those points again tonight with our guest. And I just kind of read through the entire summary of everything that they released over on Empire Magazine and a few other things. So go check out that episode if you didn't hear me talk about it last week on the stream. I just wanted to showcase this real quick. We're on Blue Sky now. And Blue Sky, it feels like it's such a good platform that's basically just Twitter, but better, but nicer. So go utilize that. I am on there as well. You can find me in the podcast over there. And of course, if you didn't already, go subscribe to the newsletter right there. I write about all kinds of fun stuff, Jurassic and otherwise. So go check that out. But enough of that stuff. Let's go ahead and welcome in our guest for today, and somebody that's probably just going to end up on this upcoming episode. You'll probably end up hearing this exact recording on the podcast feed. What's going on, Aaron? How you doing?
It's how we roll. This exact recording on the podcast feed. Yeah.
This is exactly. It's laziness at its peak for me.
I mean, you say lazy. I say work light, play hard. That's not what I say at all.
You don't say that. I've never heard you say that, but I get it.
Work smart. That's
Work smarter, not harder. It's just sometimes it's just easier just to port stuff over instead of sitting down again to record one other time. So I appreciate being able to talk with you for a little bit. So let's see what let's kick things off just nice and simple, because we've got some stuff to talk about tonight. We're going to be talking about Beyond the Gates. We're going to be talking about Jurassic World Rebirth, and I just want to get your perspective on a lot of that stuff. But as usual, let's kick things off. How you doing, dude? What's going on? What kind of fun topics can we kick things off with tonight? I'm sure there's some movie news or some movie updates that you got to talk about.
Not really. I hear that Captain America is in some kind of reshoot turmoil. I don't know. That's what everyone's talking about on YouTube.
It went through like one batch of reshoots where they added in what's his name? I'm blanking on his name, but Gustavo Fring, whatever his name was. No, Harrison Ford has always been there, but the guy from Breaking Bad, they added him in, and he's from Mandalorian as well. And then I don't know what's going on with this next batch, but I saw Anthony Mackie again shooting, and who knows? Who knows what's going on there? It does look like a very good movie. I feel like the trailer looks great, and Thunderbolts looks great. I'm excited by both of those things. So I don't know what's going on. Hopefully they're just getting it right. I feel like these movies should be at a time where they can just take their time and get things right. But it always feels like some of these places are just rushing to get things out.
Yeah, but for the first time, I feel like in a while, this is. You know what? This statement's not true, but I was going to say, we're finally coming back to characters that we were kind of promised were going to be like the next team. And these are characters like, golly, man, when did Falcon and Winter Soldier come out? It was like pandemic era, like early pandemic era.
Yeah, it was a long time ago at this point. Yeah.
So we haven't had Captain America in like 4 years. And I don't care what people say, whether it should be Chris Evans or Bucky Barnes or this guy, it's Captain America. Who cares? The
Sam is Captain America. That's who he is.
Right. It's a mantle. It's not a person. Yeah. So
everybody who's had even what's his name? the guy from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And they make that joke in Thunderbolts. They're like, yeah, for 5 minutes or whatever Yelena says.
It's like
U.S. agent guy.
Well, it's like so weird, right? Like there's certain characters that to me are like characters. Like when I think of Superman is Clark Kent. Like I don't, I know they tried doing like, I know they tried being like, anyone could be Superman, and then like they tried doing like different characters, but I was just like kind of like they tried doing like a Miles Morales thing, and I think there was even like a Chinese Superman at one point.
I don't remember any of these changes, but
and I was just like, well, sure, but Clark Kent is Superman, and it like to me, like even like Miles Morales. Let's go with Miles Morales because that's maybe more of a common one. I don't feel like Spider-Man is a mantle necessarily. I feel like Peter Parker is Spider-Man and Miles Morales is, I mean, he's Spider-Man. There's no doubt, but he's not like, he doesn't feel like, he's not like the Spider-Man to me. He's like Robin.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but yeah, I think like Spider-Man is almost different where like, yes, Peter Parker is like the iconic Spider-Man, but like, I think especially with the Miles Morales movies and Into the Spider-Verse, it's showing you that there are just endless amounts of Spider-Men, Spider-Women, whoever, and Spider people. And I think
Miles
like
Morales in those movies makes sense to me because he's like this like alternate universe one.
Yeah.
The video game version where it's like he's a protege of Peter Parker that basically has like the same exact backstory is like weird to me. It seems a little like too coincidental. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why he feels like Robin to me, because that's the version I'm most familiar with. And I know the original comics is he's an alternate version or an alternate universe, similar to the movies. But the video games, similar to Batman, he has a similar backstory to the OG, right? And so that he just kind of maybe feels like a sidekick in the game. But
yeah, I guess in the game, I actually just got the second game, by the way. It was on sale, Black Friday deals and stuff. I got that, and I got Star Wars Outlaws.
I haven't finished it.
I haven't started it, so I'm not going to spoil it. I haven't even started it yet. But yeah, I'm hyped for it. It looks like a great game, but yeah, I think with the game, he definitely feels more of a sidekick than like he does in his movie, where he's just like he is probably the best Spider-Man there is. He's awesome.
But yeah, like getting back to like Captain America to me feels like more like a state of mind, or like you're bestowed with this moniker, right? Superman is Clark Kent, is the alien from Krypton, is allergic to kryptonite, right? Like it's all in one, right? I feel like Captain America can be multiple people. You could have two Captain Americas at the same time. It's a little weird, but like have two that are bestowed the mantle of Captain America. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure there's some.
It's funny in all these like superhero stories that it's always like the people on the ground who like come up with the name, of these characters. So Superman came to Earth as Kal-El, right? So he's Kal-El. He didn't come here as Superman. People were like, that's like some sort of Superman up there, like that's the kind of thing that they, look at that guy. He's like a Spider-Man. It's some kind of spider. So that's the kind of like way they get named. So the hand, like it's kind of like a handle that you're just passing on to somebody else. So I can see the title being passed down for sure for almost any of these characters. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't know, but I'm excited.
You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. What a great time of mass patriotism in the United States.
Spider-Man?
You got to think about the time, right? And for some of our listeners, they might be too young for this, but we're talking post 9/11, like late 2001, early 2002. Like America, for those who weren't born, believe it or not, at one point in time, we were all united under this horrific thing that happened.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man 1 is probably like in popcorn cinema is like the pinnacle of that feeling, because like I remember being a kid, and that guy from Brooklyn with the really thick accent, he's like, "You
Yeah.
mess with one of us." Like, I remember being a kid in Michigan, being like, "That's right, absolutely."
Didn't
Like
didn't that movie have the advertisement that had
the trailers,
like the
yes,
spiders between the webs between the towers?
yeah.
So
Like, I
yeah,
mean, there's the original poster has the twin towers like in his eye, like a reflection in his eye.
yeah,
Um,
that's
I
yeah,
mean, if you're
completely
too
different
young for
time.
9/11, look up the first trailer for
Look up
Spider-Man.
9/11. That's first off. Look that up
No,
before
don't do
Spider-Man.
that. Don't do that. I
Yeah, I guess
mean,
don't. Yeah, just yeah, you don't need to
um,
relive it. Or for the first
yeah, I
time.
mean, just by comparison to where we're at today, right? Like, I remember that being like a major point of patriotism in our country, and people being united and not fighting about Joe Rogan.
Wait, we're a bigger podcast than that though, I think. So
The Joe Rogan?
yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Giancarlo Esposito. That was the guy's name. I completely forgot. Yeah. Thank you, Steve. But yeah. So all right. So let me ask you this. You're keeping up with some other stuff. How are you keeping up with Jurassic these days?
Dude, really poorly.
Yeah.
Really poorly. I think part of it is just being so incredibly busy, and my biggest connection to Jurassic was always the toys. And like I'm out of room. Like, and I know we discuss this almost every time.
Yeah, every time.
Like every time we talk, but like
Yeah.
I'm just kind of legit out of room to put this stuff. And so, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't stop me from pre-ordering Hammond collection stuff, but
I know, right? Yeah. I mean, it's same. I'm in the same boat, out of room, and I still, as always, have a pile of things to open up right there on the ground that I still have not opened up. But yeah, man, we're like inching towards more. You know, we're still on that
I know,
that kind of
I know.
peripheral where we're outside of Dominion. We're kind of just getting things. It's just kind of like boosting up your collection with like random assortments, some fun like classic stuff, which was nice, a nice filler. But we're so close to like new, you know, like we're very close to getting hopefully like human characters from the new movie, or you know, maybe whatever dinosaur or vehicles or you know, boats, I don't know, whatever kind of thing yeah this movie has. So we're so close, and I'm very interested to see like how that pans out, just because of how rushed this all is. And you know, actually I've been feeling a little bit better about the rushed nature of it all. I feel like it feels a little bit more relaxed right now. And but I do think like for the all the companies out there who produce, you know, marketing materials or toys or games or whatever, they're probably having a rushed experience trying to get this stuff out. So I'm going to be interested to see what happens with the toys, specifically, to see like how on the ball are they with what's going on in the movie, or are they going to be like the Force Awakens, who like gave you like a few toys, you know, in the beginning, and then like stuff later on, or you know, they just don't want to spoil aspects of the movie, or they, you know, or is it like we're gonna get like the T-Rex that looks like the Red Rex, you know, because they didn't have the actual model that, you know, the movie was based off of. So they're going to more
No,
off
see,
of
I've
like
got
the
the
book or stuff.
opposite. I've got the opposite feeling with the toy
Yeah.
with Mattel. I think Mattel has been sitting on designs
Ooh, okay.
for a long
You think
time.
that?
So like, well, because here's the thing. Let's talk. Like, look at the strikes, right? The strikes were not the VFX people. The strikes were not the designers. I mean, there may have been layoffs at those studios because of the strikes. Like, that's a very real reality that a lot of my old friends are dealing with. They just can't find work, and it's because the strikes happened, and you had your actor strike and your writer strike. Well, if VFX studios can't be putting things through the pipeline, then they lay everyone off, and those people they don't really stick around. They go find other ways of making money, and then so it's like a whole thing. But my theory is that ILM is fairly big, owned by Disney. They're the ones that usually typically do like the major design work, I think. And I would imagine that preliminary designs were done. So what my theory is going to be is that we're going to get Mattel toys, that are close, but not the final designs we see in the movie. If that makes sense. So like, how do I like really explain this?
I think I know what you mean.
There was Crash McCreary art of a juvenile Triceratops. So like there's the famous one of the raptor, right, in the hands being hatched. You know? Well, there's an alternate version of that with a baby Triceratops. And that baby Triceratops design wound up in coloring books, and the Ellie action figure is based off of that baby Triceratops design hatching out of the egg. And so is there's like an egg do I have it up here? Oh yeah, I actually have it. Hold on. Now this is gonna be no good for the listen or for the podcast only. But like this design of this toy here, this baby Triceratops, this is a Crash McCreary based figure. And this has no relationship to the movies at all. It's just based off of concept work. So I almost feel like this is gonna be is that we're gonna get toys based off of concept art that might not have hit the movie.
Is this the one you're talking about? I don't know if that's the one or not, but
no. So that's
okay.
the younger Triceratops based off of the book. But like if you were to Google like Crash McCreary Triceratops hatchling, maybe.
Okay. All right. Let me try that then.
Or Jurassic Park Triceratops hatchling, you would get a more accurate representation.
Yeah. I see what you mean though. Like, because here we go. I got it. Oops, that's just the wrong button. Let's go with this button. There we go. It's not as crystal clear, but yeah, you've got the Velociraptor, very iconic. But yeah, then the little seen Triceratops there. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so I could definitely see that happening though, because like, yeah, sure, maybe the designs are like pretty close. Imagine like Blue, for instance, but like some of the striping is a little different, or the pattern's wrong, or something like that. That they just haven't finalized visual effects wise for the end of the film. But yeah, I could definitely see that happening for sure, which wouldn't be a big deal, probably because what was I gonna say? Oh, just because like with the toys, they're not always like a 1-to-1 anyway, so it's okay.
And you got to think like the big selling point for these toys is going to be the new designs. So I think Mattel could easily like recycle a lot of play features and mechanics, right? And not really have to worry about coming up with a bunch of new concepts. They can easily, I mean, when I was in my heaviest of heavy collecting, right, there was like 3 or 4 different sizes of dinosaurs, and they had all very similar play features. And then they just kept coming up with new play features. Like there's always new ones coming out. Like there's this current T-Rex now that like you bend it a certain way and it's like its whole body comes down and like chomps a human, and then like comes back up. Like that's a cool T-Rex. I don't have that T-Rex because I have way too many, but
yeah.
It's still cool.
I have that one right there, yeah. Also unopened as well, but it's there. Yeah, they've really, I think, in the past few years come out with some really inventive play features, which I think are really cool. So while I don't really play with them all that much, and I'll be honest, like I've taken all the things that I don't have on my shelf and I've thrown them in like a bin of toys for my kids to play with. But they're just like not really into playing with them. I've like tried. I've really tried to get them to play with these toys. But for some reason they just don't care to play with dinosaur toys. I don't know if they're just like still maybe too young for like this assortment of toys. I don't know, because my son's
I don't know.
7.
Like my nephews, it's not their top of the list either. And they're in the age. They're like 7 and 9.
Yeah, I think I was 7, right? I think when the movie came out, so like that was when I just started to get into like heavily like playing with these things. So I think maybe there's still time for him to grasp onto that. But we just haven't really gotten there yet. And we've got, things that are enticing. The big dinosaurs are still out, the super colossals
Yeah.
and the different play sets are there. And some of the human figures are mixed in there. So they've got everything they need. But they just haven't been enticed. I did have on Jurassic Park today. We did watch, or I was like watching part of it. And then they came home from school. They just watched like the second half of it, and my son was like super into it. My daughter was kind of running all around the house, but I had just gotten a new TV because my old one started to turn a bit blue, and it just got progressively worse. And then when I plugged in the new one, even bigger, it was like 75 inches now. It was like, yeah, dude, it was way bigger than I thought it was going to be. I upgraded from a 60, and I thought the 60 was big, but then I put the 7. I was like, oh my God, that's huge. So
what an American issue. What an American problem.
right? I know. But it looked beautiful and it was like really enticing to them. And then once that movie was done, we had just watched The Lost World pretty recently. I watched it with them not too long ago. So I skipped over it and I went to Jurassic Park 3, which they had never seen.
Now, were your children like, there's quality degradation here, and I see it and understand it. This is an inferior movie to all of them. Did they say that to you? Were they like, Dad, this is inferior?
No, and I didn't want to influence them, dude. But I was itching. I'm sitting there in the beginning of this movie, and I just wanted to be like, you see how bad this is, right? Like the beginning of this movie just looks terrible. You can see like it looks fake, right? Like you can tell, Lincoln, that it's definitely not like a real, like they weren't really in there and flying around. And it looks really bad, right? And then what I was like, dude, I did say though, I was like, what do you think happened to those guys in the boat? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, me either. I still have no idea. All these years later, 20-something years later, I still have no idea what happened to these people in these boats.
I like that you're setting your children up for the disappointments of being an adult and not getting answers in life.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. I remember being like, I was like 14 or 15 when that movie came out, and I remember the 3 splash came across the screen, and I was out. I was like done, because to me that was like the most cliche thing you could do for a dinosaur movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I want to really love that movie, and I do like it. I do think there's a lot of redeeming qualities that are pretty great. There's a lot of really good stuff in there, but it's so hard to fall in love with it like the way that I do with Jurassic Park, and The Lost World, and the other sequels too. Like I just, especially going straight from Jurassic Park to JP3. It's just, like you said, from the claw marks to the music in the beginning, to the bad CG, to the bad acting, to so many different things. In just the opening sequence alone, it's really, really hard. And then, like, there's also the shaky cam whenever the Spinosaurus is, like, in the beginning of the movie. It's so, like, I just do not like that shaky cam footage. I don't like the airplane stuff. It just looks bad to me. And I hate the goofy T-Rex, when looking up from the carcass there, the Ceratosaurus just being also goofy. The bad, terrible looking Brachiosaurus that I just despise. There's a lot of qualities I dislike about this movie, but there's a lot of good stuff. I can't get over the bad stuff too.
I mean, say what you want about the new trilogy, but for the most part, they've got continuity of design down. Now they ruined it and threw out all their goodwill with that Parasaurolophus, but for like the most part, the continuity of the World Series is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dominion suffers from a lot of the same things that Jurassic Park 3 suffer from, which is just a schlocky, goofy attitude towards dinosaurs, which is why like I'm like reading over this Empire magazine thing, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I think Gareth Edwards also gets it. Like I think he gets it even like maybe more, like he gets it. It's like Trevorrow understood that this was like a world that could like live and breathe and like could be a bigger than just an island thing, which I maybe disagree with that notion. But, and we're going to talk about this article just a little bit, but like I'm reading some of these things that like Gareth says, and I'm like, yes, dude. Like I think you get what made just Jurassic Park so special, you know, and maybe not even Lost World or JP3. Like,
I said a lot of mean things about JP3, but let me just say, like, you know, even still watching it today, Alan Grant, love the guy, he's so awesome. The Raptors are incredible in that movie.
They're incredible, but they don't belong in that movie. Like,
well, I mean, I like the idea of like a finished version where like the Raptors take on like the Spinosaurus, and then like that kind of stuff really works for me if it was to happen. And then it would make more sense. But yeah, having two villains kind of at the same time with the Raptors have like a conclusion, kind of at least. So the Spinosaurus does not, though. But the Spinosaurus, I wrote this in my Letterboxd review. Go follow me on Letterboxd. The movie for me is like a 3 out of 5. I gave it. I felt like I was probably being generous with a 3 out of 5. But the Spinosaurus is a 5 out of 5. The Spinosaurus is incredible. Like, I love the Spinosaurus. I don't like the way it's filmed in the beginning, but it's incredible. The animatronic, so incredibly good. The CG version, so incredibly good. How it looks, it's awesome. When it's walking away from the fire and roaring in the fire and all this, like, they did a really good job of like filming it kind of like hauntingly. Like, there is a cool shot or two in that airplane sequence in the beginning where you can see it through like the windshield, or you can see it once they're downed and crashed. There's a circle window on the side. You can see it stalking up towards them. Awesome shot. But then there's a lot of really bad shots in that same sequence. But I do think they did a good job filming that thing for the most part.
Part of it is like, you know, there's the story that Spielberg had them build like a full-size stegosaur for the stegosaurus sequence. And they show up to set one day. They're going to film that massive big stegosaurus sequence out in the woods. And Spielberg, like, I don't know, they do like one take with the mechanic, with the animatronic. And Spielberg's like, CG the whole thing. And I think what Spielberg realized was that there is a time and a place for CG, and there's a time and a place for animatronics. And I think by the time you get to JP3, when the biggest name on the movie, or the biggest person of power, is probably like Stan Winston. Like, Stan Winston's like, no, like, my animatronic Spinosaur is gonna be the star of this movie. And it's like, no, there is no star. There is only the Spinosaurus. Like, take your ego out of it. May you rest in peace, Stan Winston. But like, take your ego out of it and realize that your 9-ton robot cannot move as fluid and as fast as these animals are described to be in the franchise.
Yeah. Carlos, hey, what's going on, dude? How's it going? He said birdcage scene is one of the best. Do you love the birdcage scene? Yeah, you love it?
Yeah, except for I hate the design of those pteranodons. Like, if they would have kept the Lost World design, it probably would be, I mean, that might be my number one scene if they would have kept the Lost World design.
I just like, I don't think they ever could have, because those felt way smaller to me. And the ones in JP3 needed to be big and intimidating. You know, like, it needed to be scary. And that thing is pretty haunting.
I think it only felt small because you're looking at a really big wide shot, like in that final sequence.
It's
like,
possible. Yeah.
You could scale something really, and it would have been cool.
I feel like they're almost probably, I'd have to take a closer look again, but they feel about the same scale as like Jurassic World. No? Because those ones are pretty small too.
Yeah, you're right. Like, maybe the Lost World ones were that size, but like, here's the deal. You could easily have scaled those up. The Lost World Pteranodons, they feel designed like by a modern artist, whereas the Jurassic Park 3 Pteranodons feel like they were designed by like an off-brand dinosaur toy company from like the early 90s, like pre-Jurassic Park. In fact, I have a toy that's not Jurassic Park that probably is that Pteranodon. Like what was the Mattel dinosaur toy line before Kenner had Jurassic Park?
I don't know.
Google's not going to know that because now it's all Jurassic World. But Dinosaurs Alive or something. But this toy line that I'm talking about, it was like the coolest dinosaurs we had before Jurassic Park hit the shelves. And they had like a brown Pteranodon that was like your stock textbook looking Pteranodon.
I like Nikolai's comment here. My favorite scene is the river attack from the Spino. Just wish the Barney part wasn't as prominent in it. So today,
that's right.
I'm watching it with my son, and I just still love that part so much. The back and forth between the absolute horror that is the Spinosaur attack and the comedy of
See, this is where I wish I could hang up on you.
I know, but I love watching the kid be a kid, and that's why it's so funny to me, is because that is exactly what a kid would do. A kid doesn't know to just like bring the phone right away because of this dire circumstance. Like, bring it to mom right away. The kid's like gonna get distracted and gonna go do what it's gonna do. It's gonna go watch Barney. And I think that was so fun. I love it. I don't know. I love that back and forth. I mean, we always watched Barney as in our house as kids because my sister, I think, was more into it, but it was always on. And it takes Steve out every time too, it sounds like. But I don't know. I love that. I love that part. But yeah, I could see a version where it doesn't, like, that doesn't happen. But I think it adds to it for me. And it was funny this morning, when Jurassic Park 3 was on, my son looks over to me and he's like, "Hey, Dad, what's the quote?" Now I'm blanking on it. He says, "What's the dinosaur that he has?" This is the kid. Charlie says, "Hey, Dad, this is a whatever." He says, like, "This is a dinosaur, and that's the dinosaur man." My son just repeated that to me, and I wasn't expecting him to say that, and I was like, "Dude, that's too funny." So he got a kick out of Charlie quite a bit in this movie.
Fair enough.
Dude,
I mean,
also, I got to say this too. We get to the scene where Grant's playing with Charlie and he's like, they're doing that back and forth with the dinosaur toys. And my son's like, "Oh, we know them. We know them, these characters." He's like talking about Grant and Ellie. And I'm like, "Yeah, we do, right? They were just in the last movie." And he's like, "Yeah, that's right. Are they married?" And I'm like,
well, son, let me teach you about disappointment. Let me teach you about disappointment.
I was like dying inside. I'm like, yeah, just watch. And then like Mark walks up and gives her a kiss, and he's like, "Oh, so why aren't they married?" And I was like, I don't know, man. But it's gonna be a lifelong regret for them. But yeah, but there's 2 kids at least. So,
but you know what? But your kids have the benefit of growing up where they can just like watch like 3 more movies, and everything is kind of okay.
Yeah,
that was a 20-year gap for us. 20 years.
Yeah. What a heartbreak for
20 is the age
long.
of an actual adult.
And we've been waiting that whole time for Alan and Ellie to get back together. Like, can't believe it took that long. But man, I loved those moments in Dominion. So I guess, if you had asked me back then, obviously, and even years ago, I still would have just been like, I hate that. That's the worst choice. I hate it. It's terrible. That's one thing, again, that took me out of Jurassic Park 3 so much. But to have that feeling in Jurassic World Dominion, I guess I could, I wouldn't have had it any other way. It was a nice feeling to get them back together after so long. That was just such a great way to do it, you know?
I just want to say, to wrap up my comment about the Mattel line, now that Mattel has had Jurassic World for 6 years, this Mattel dinosaur line has basically been erased from existence because Google is straight up like, no, bro, they make Jurassic Park toys. That's what they make. That's the Mattel dinosaur line. You type in early, like, there is legit just nothing. I have no idea what they were called. So rest in peace, Mattel early 90s dinosaur line, because the internet has forgotten you.
So let's mention that we haven't yet started talking about any of our aforementioned topics.
Yeah. This is the precursor.
This was just us rambling for 40 minutes.
You're my favorite one to talk to you, man, because like you're just like, hey, this is gonna be a short episode today. Let's keep it nice and concise. And then 45 minutes later, we're gonna start the show.
I am like, I'm just like a black hole, dude. Like
and I let you host, man. I let you guide the conversation.
I
mean, I might
derail. I don't know what's wrong with me, but this happens on every show I do. It happens on every other podcast that I'm on. Everything. It's a black hole where I just like suck in everything, and then it just becomes way too long.
Not to derail this any further, but La La Land Records. This ties in with what we were talking about. La La Land Records has announced that like you can get the Jurassic Park 3 like expanded soundtrack.
It's on the way to my house, I think. Still, for some reason, I don't think it's shown up yet. But yeah,
I was gonna say, like, do you even care?
I do, absolutely. That's one thing it's one of my least favorite scores by far. But I'm very excited to hear more because the music is something that I'm like so passionate about. To hear more from that score, there's so much that's just like kind of copycat material in there. Like, I feel like Michael Giacchino he wasn't like a copycat. Like, he made things his own and reused, obviously, some stuff. But it didn't feel like it was just a straight rip. A lot of what Jurassic Park 3 and Don Davis did, I don't know if it was like a mandate, by Universal
or
Steven.
Yeah,
just to be like, you need to make this as John Williams sounding as possible. And he did a great job at that. Like, he did a good job. Like I said, though, the beginning takes me out just because it's like such a copycat that it's like not a great copy of that. Just the beginning, really. Outside of that, I think everything's pretty good sounding. It's just there's a lot of very shrill stuff, high pitched stuff, and it's very bombastic. But there are some really, really nice, beautiful moments, like Nash calling, that moment where the phone is in the stomach of the Spinosaurus when Eric first hears it. That music is incredible. Okay. Incredible music. So if there's more stuff like that, please give it to me. I don't know. Is Big Hat No Cattle on it? I forgot to look.
I mean, that's on the original, so like why wouldn't it be on this one?
I'd hope so. Give me 14 versions of that song.
I do remember being excited for like the lab music to be available to me. But that's really like the only thing I listen to. Again, man, this almost falls into like, I can actually say this is not the worst album because I think the worst album by far is Dominion. Like,
oh my God,
this
is where I hang up now. That
I have no
good,
imprints of Dominion whatsoever.
It's because you watched it one time, maybe two.
Excuse me, I've watched it twice.
Yeah.
You know what? Dude, maybe this Christmas.
It's so good, man. I hate
my
that
family
the world doesn't agree.
Maybe I subject them to Jurassic World Dominion this year for Christmas.
Please.
Maybe that's my Christmas gift to the family.
Well, should we talk about this?
Let's actually talk about the show. Let's talk about our topics.
Let's talk about our first topic here. We'll come back to Rebirth in a little bit, but let's talk a little bit about Mattel Jurassic. Oh, that's not the right button. I don't have the button set up for a guest. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about here is what is this? The Hammond Collection juvenile Triceratops from Beyond the Gates. Now, this was the final Beyond the Gates, as far as we know. Hey, maybe it's the last one ever. Maybe they're not doing them anymore. Or maybe this is just the end of the season. I don't really know. I didn't watch the video. Maybe they said it in the video. But I brought the video up and stuff as well. I do have that. We can take a look in just a second. But first thoughts. You see the juvenile Triceratops. What you thinking?
I mean, I instantly recognized it as a juvenile Triceratops. Now, the video says, as we see in Jurassic World. And I got some beef with that.
Did it say that?
Yes. This is a Lost World toy. And if we really want to get like real picky about it, this is a Jurassic Park toy. Because this is based off of concept art
that I just showed before.
Triceratops that you showed earlier, right? Like the Jurassic World baby Triceratops are not much different than the ones we've seen in the past. I think maybe the Lost World one's a little more squat than the Jurassic World ones, but I think it's close enough that we can say it's the same design.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually didn't even think about that. I'm glad you took a listen. Let's go ahead. I do have the audio here. Let's just play through.
Hey, Jurassic World fans. Welcome to the final episode of Beyond the Gates Creator Edition. I'm Jax from Plastic Action, and this month we're going to feature one of my personal favorite dinosaurs, the Triceratops. And not just any other Triceratops. This is a younger, juvenile version that we saw and loved in the Jurassic World movie. Now let's get the studio ready for a quick...
It's gonna have like the Jurassic World logo and stuff on the side of the box, I'm sure, right?
Unboxing and photo.
I love this setup. A great setup here.
Yeah, this gives me ideas. This
TV
gives me
in the
ideas.
back.
Yeah.
This movie-accurate deluxe figure from Jurassic World measures 6.7 inches long, 3.3 inches tall, and has 14 points of articulation. Some other really cool features are the posable mouth, tail, and lifelike glass eyes. Let's set up the scene for the photo using some of my favorite Hammond Collection toys and bring these action figures
I still never
life.
got Hammond himself.
What?
You can pre-order this Hammond Collection Triceratops exclusively on Target.com.
I like it. I think, and no fanfare there at the end. It was just kind of like just over really quickly. 1 minute and 18 seconds long. Very, very short video. And I believe Muzamil here said it was indicated somewhere maybe on the page. Oops, I went back too far. More for 2025. Let's see. Yeah, it says say, but don't worry, there's more exciting stuff in store for you in 2025. Stay tuned. So it does say it right there. But yeah, so that was Jax Navarro at Plastic Action. I can't talk right now. At Plastic Action. But yeah, good video, good picture there, and the figure itself I think is pretty cool. And you had mentioned, let me bring up the bigger video here, The Lost World. I brought mine out just because I had it right there. Got this one right here. This looks, I mean, it's pretty similar, right? I do think it does look a little bit different, of course, but, I just wanted to compare for the sake of comparing. Let's see if I can find, there's not really a good shot of it in Jurassic World, is there?
Jurassic World?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with like the petting zoo area, I think there's some good.
Oh, there is. Is there one like that you can like ride on or something?
Yeah, that's what he's talking about from Jurassic World.
No, I know, but I forgot. I was trying to remember exactly what shots there are.
I mean, I guess the best shot of a baby trike would be like in Fallen Kingdom in the cages.
Yeah, that's what I was actually just looking at. I just saw that one pop up too. I forgot about that too. There's the.
But I guess all I'm getting at is like these Hammond Collection ones usually honor the first appearance.
Yeah, there's the Fallen Kingdom one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the it at least pop up super easily in Google. There's
Do we have like
Yeah,
Baby
here's-
Triceratops Lost World? Is that something we can look at?
here's a little bit right there. Not super
look
great
so good.
look, but
They look so good.
you know, close enough. Sure, I guess.
But
But it's
I just
awesome.
want to clarify that Parasaurolophus in the background. That's the correct one.
Parasaurolophus in the background of what?
In the
right
background of
there?
this image.
Okay, yeah.
That's what a Jurassic Park.
You don't like the wintry one?
No, with the weird beak. No.
$14.99.
I know it's
for
accurate.
this one. Releases January 12th, 2025. Yeah, I think it looks pretty cute. I'm definitely more into that than some of the other releases, I feel like, this year. So I'll probably give that a pre-order at some point, as long as it's not gone. I didn't do it right away. So this is the last creator edition. What do we think? Do we think they did a good job with the creator edition? What are your feelings on this at the very end of it? Has it been something that's made an impact on you? Do you think that the toys themselves have been good? Like, what do you have any thoughts? I don't know how like into it you've been paying attention or not. But
I mean, I think it's a cool idea. Look, and this is no offense to Chris. I think Chris did a great job with this, but if we're gonna like keep going, I guess it's cool to see the toy photography aspect of it. But as I was saying to you like before the show, every one of these has been toy photography, and like I looked up at like at Plastic Action or Jack at Plastic Action, and like his page is doing animations, like really cool animations with articulated action figures.
Mm-hmm.
And this just feels like they gave him like 2 days to like look dev a shot. When I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a turnaround time on all these, right? And I'm sure his animations take longer than a couple days. But it would have been nice to like, one, I think, feature more Jurassic creators, because a lot of these creators are not in the Jurassic. It's tough. A lot of these creators have not been in the Jurassic space. They've been like a lot of them in like Star Wars, or like this Plastic Action is like into like fighters and dancers and stuff, it looks like. So I get it. They're trying to like broaden their market, but it just feels like these creators took this as like maybe a paying gig or something, kind of churned out a little video and pieced out, right? Like, I think there was one creator like that we looked up a long time ago. I think maybe it was the second or third one, and we were like, this guy's like not even promoting that he even did this video.
Yeah.
Right? We were like,
yeah.
It just seems like such an afterthought. Now, I'm not saying that you and I would have anything to offer this, because we're not doing toy photography. So like, what do we, like if you and I were to get on there, right? What do we do? Talk about toys for an hour and a half? Right? And then
we talk about something else for quite
Right,
a while
right.
until
we talk about Marvel for 20 minutes and lament that Henry Cavill isn't Superman. Like what do we do?
Mattel's like, this was supposed to be 1 minute and 18 seconds long, and you gave us an hour and 18 minutes. No, please.
You know what? There could be a lot of worse things that happen other than people hanging out on the Target website for an hour and a half.
That's true. Yeah.
Brett,
exclusive podcast for Target.com.
Brett, you know what we could do? You know what we could do, Brett? We could legit like do a 2-hour event. If they gave us like 3 toys, we could do a 2-hour event and get pre-orders rolling just by talking about it, talking about the history of the figure, where it was first seen, what it's based off of. Let's do a deep dive in the Crash McCree artwork. Can we find anything from the early 90s that this toy maybe like? I'm not saying that's a good idea. I'm just saying we could do it.
We could do it. That is possible.
Like we could sell some toys. We could sell some toys during a live broadcast on the Target website.
Yeah. Oh well.
I mean, Target, just throwing that out there.
Yeah. And I've said it 20 times over, but it just feels like a weird experiment that I'm not sure how successful it was, because like you said, there was not a ton of I don't know, just wasn't really any sales going on from like the individuals' pages. I don't really, they weren't really like broadcasting it out there to people, and
Yeah.
I don't think it had made much of an impact through these individual creators. I think they made some good stuff outside of just like saying, hey, this toy's available. I don't really ever feel like I saw the images anywhere.
Yeah, and you know
I
what?
don't really feel like they made an impact like on social media browsing or anything like that. So I don't really know what the point was. So I'm still a little flustered and lost as far as like what it was really, really supposed to be.
I mean,
I struggle with that.
I might be like selling Chris short. His show, one was always, it always felt like it was for the fans, by the fans kind of situation.
Mhm.
And I mean, Chris runs Outpost, right? And so he's been around for a long time. Everyone knows who he is. So it really had that like for the fans, by the fans. But then like also, and I totally forgot about this and I'm just now recalling, there was always like toy designer diaries in them. And as far as I'm concerned, like, and I part of it's because I didn't know this. I didn't even know this was like a job, I guess. But like in 2009, I remember like being in VFX school and I was like really wanted to be a modeler. And I was like always modeling dinosaurs and people were like, you got to stop. Like dinosaurs just aren't popular. Like no one wants to see a whole demo reel full of dinosaurs. And it wasn't until like another like 5-6 years later that I saw like a toy designer diary of like the guy sculpting Ray for like the Black series in ZBrush. And I was just like, dang it, dude. If I would have like really focused and done nothing but dinosaurs, I knew ZBrush at one point. Like, dude, I could have been doing this. Brad, like that's my dream job right there, is designing these dinosaur toys at Mattel.
You just figured it out.
And
what are you doing?
I was just old before I realized that like that was like an actual possibility. You know?
Well, you could do the toys for Jurassic World 10, you know?
Yeah, but like I mean, this is a terrible thing, but like I've been working creatively for like over 20 years. I just don't know how much creativity there is. Like every I don't want to say it's like difficult, but like being creative is really exhausting, man. Like it's really tiresome. Because you're constantly having to make decisions. I mean, you know how this is, like, right? From like doing the show, like, golly, man, 8 to 12 hours a day. It's like you're constantly making decisions that cost a lot of money. Like, you know what I'm saying? That potentially like cost your client millions of dollars. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I just, to take on a new discipline seems daunting. I'm not saying like don't follow your dreams, but to take on a new discipline seems really, really daunting.
Yeah. Well, to your point though, the old videos had people actually like, you know, talking about how they made them.
Right.
You got to see maybe some audio or hear audio or see video of people who actually had a hand in the design of the original, whether it was like, you know, something from the movie or like artwork or some old toy or something, whatever it was, like people actually talking about that actually had a hand in making it. So that was really, really cool to see. And it was a little bit longer, you know, it had a little bit more information. You got to see like different sheets of like what the design was going to look like, what it, you know, how it functioned and how they made it function. So there was a lot of extra effort, I think, that went into the other videos. So they inherently are far superior in my eyes. Not to say that these people didn't do great work with the Creator Edition. It just didn't really have a ton to offer. So, you know, and like you said, even if somebody came up to me and said, "Oh, what are you going to do?" I mean, I would just like do what they did and just like take a picture, I guess, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, look, there's toy photography, and then there's like, dang, dude, that's some toy photography. And I feel like if they could have gotten images that just like, knocked out, like, because like you're saying, right, like, oh, it's just taking a picture. like I look at some of these that they've done. I'm like, yeah, they just took a picture. But then like there's some toy photography that you see.
I just took this picture right now. As
Oh my god,
right
dude! Creator edition.
Creator edition. Boom, did it.
Brad, you're like, you might as well just say that you can make a movie with AI. Like
I could, yeah.
Are you one of those guys? Are you one of those guys? Great. Awesome.
No. I can tell AI to make us a Jurassic and Fast and Furious crossover. That's about it.
Hey man, it's gonna happen.
Yes, it will. Any final thoughts though on this before we wrap up with this?
No, I mean, I pre-ordered this. I think it's a cool figure. Now, I'm sorry, but do they owe us a real full-size Triceratops Hammond collection yet?
We have it. It's already a
thing. Get out of here. Get out of here.
I like it. It's nice. It's not bad.
It's so small. It's so small.
Yeah, it is small for sure. It's like a little bit bigger juvenile.
That like eco-friendly one they came out with a year later or 6 months later. Oh my god, it was so good.
I still never got that one.
Dude, I've seen that on Amazon for like $13.
I
need to.
So before we wrap up this, the future of Beyond the Gates. So it sounds like, based off of what it says here, more to look forward to in 2025. If that means maybe just more toys to look forward to from Mattel and Target, maybe. I don't know if that means specifically that Beyond the Gates is coming back. But if it does come back, do you expect to see Creator Edition again? Do you think there's going to be some other iteration? What do you think they're going to do going forward?
I think the Chris stuff was probably expensive. Not that Chris himself was expensive, but I feel like
charge less, man.
No, I just think that look, getting doing interview sections with the actual creators of the toys, having Chris come out to a studio or set up a studio. I don't know how Chris did it. I feel like I don't think you can go lower quality. I don't mean this like as a disparaging thing. That totally sounds awful. But I don't think the goal should be to somehow make these cheaper. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think the goal should be to do less. The Creator Editions is the very minimum that I think we should expect out of Beyond the Gates.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, and we talked about this quite a bit before the Creator Edition actually happened. We talked about what are the options after, the original iteration. And, I kind of just imagined that it would be some in-house creation. They just hire some person to just talk about it real quick, kind of do what they did on the initial one. And kind of like Jax did here today. He gave a good in-depth kind of here's what the figure has to offer. It's got the jaw movement, the tail movement, stuff like that. That's kind of what I expected. So maybe they'll do more. They could do more like that, or more. Maybe they'll just bring back these same 4 creators or however many they did. Muzzamil here says,
I'm very inspired by using the television. We've seen a few creators do that. Using the television to create a backdrop. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think of that as a logical thing to do. And you got to think if you're using a bright television, you're getting proper light wrap around your figures because it's projecting light from the back, right? You're getting back projected light. Mm-hmm. It's creating real lighting elements. To the point where I'm even okay, how do you take that further? Can you do something like Disney does with The Void, where you set up an Unreal Engine backdrop and can manipulate that in ways and custom light? These guys have been doing, and that's where I think I would have fun with this, is that I'm an Unreal Engine lighting artist. And I feel if you were Aaron, here's an Unreal rainforest, I could light you 3 or 4 different ways of lighting that engine. And I could do time, sunrises and stuff. I have the creative juices flowing in my head, but now the thing that stands in my way is oh man, the boards and the sawhorse deal things. I don't like. I'd go to Home Depot and be like, "Yeah, I'm a man, and I gotta photograph my toys. What do I
know how to
do?
build things. I need to
I
make
know
a
how to
tree
build things."
and make it look like real grass.
So, but yeah, I mean, this is inspiring to me as someone who would love to make some of those backdrops. And dude, I mean, come on, these guys, 3 toys. No offense, weak sauce. All right, I'm gonna do.
I could put 65 toys of the same toy.
300 in one shot. I could do it, man. I could do it. I could do a real good job.
I wanted to pinpoint Mills here, and it said, I agree with Aaron, and the delayed promotion was wonky. Though the creators did well, they needed more variety to them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if they do continue with the creator edition, make them different, make them unique, because nothing about them was really unique. They just made some cool pictures. Each one of them was very, very good. But do something different maybe next year. Video, I know it's a video, but like maybe make like somebody with like stop motion or something, or some, we've seen people do that with these toys, or, create some sort of little commercial for the toys, like an old school commercial. Different things. I don't know.
I think we literally should sit down one day and pitch this idea to them that you and I want to do a QVC style home shopping pre-order segment.
You're gonna have to fight with my co-host for the Christmas special, Travis Stevens. We I don't know if you've listened to those, but that's basically what we do every year for a fake Jurassic music album, a Christmas album. So we do a fully unscripted, off the top of our heads for like an hour.
I love those episodes.
It's so much fun. But yeah, I think too. We both think.
I mean, come on, look, the chat, sound off. You guys would come and pre-order some stuff that Brad and I were selling, right? I mean, you would be a shill for sure. 1,000%. Like, you'd be living the 1-to-1 definition of what a shill is. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, is there's so much footage of me saying, like, I don't like this figure, or I think it could be better, or I don't like the paint job, or whatever, or me saying that I think Beyond the Gates Creator Edition was a failure compared to the initial version, stuff like that I don't think I would ever get the gig.
Honest conversation, man. That's what the people demand.
Yeah, I'm being honest for you. I'm trying. And Muslim also says, I'd like to see some Rebirth related Hammond collections fast tracked for the summer, and also reimagine some of the Hasbro line for Jurassic World's 10th anniversary. Yes, please do all those things. We got to get that 10th anniversary stuff. Like, where is that? Let's get that going ASAP. But also, we need to see these figures right away. Like, we need to see Scarlett's character. We need to see Jonathan Bailey's character right away. And I hope they don't shelve them. I hope they give Scarlett's character much more, many more toys and care than they did for Claire, and I feel like we got like 2 Claire figures, 3 Claire figures. There was like a handful of Claires, and we still haven't gotten the Jurassic World one. So hopefully we get that one for the 10th anniversary.
I wouldn't even think, man, we are at 10 years. So we are for sure going to be getting a Hammond collection in Dominus Rex, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, we got to. I feel like that's a must.
Pretty killer. I mean, it's gonna look pretty killer,
dude. Golly, what we're gonna get? It's gonna be a Comic-Con. It'll be a Comic-Con exclusive. It will be the Hammond collection in Dominus, but it will be a double layered box, and they'll make it so that Claire is standing in her white outfit. So it'll be Hammond Collection Claire and Hammond Collection Indominus, and Claire will be looking into the Indominus pit.
That would be cool. Like her and Mizrahi, maybe both of them.
Oh, buddy, I might fly to San Diego for that one.
That would be pretty cool. I would also. I think you could get. It would be a big set, but what did the T-Rex came with?
Gennaro.
Gennaro, is that what it came with? It came with that hut and everything altogether?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could get the original T-Rex, but there was a Comic-Con exclusive.
Okay, I forgot it. I forgot it came with that. I would like to, if they did the Indominus, I could see it coming with that like work vehicle and like the dude like sitting there, who got chomped towards the beginning of the movie. That could be something.
I just think
or helicopter.
I just think that putting Claire looking into the pit, like, there's a couple ways you could handle it. I mean, if space was not an option or space was not an issue because it's like a Comic-Con exclusive, they literally could put the two characters like facing each other like that poster. Like, that would be really cool. Or just, again, like move the visual from like behind Claire looking in. That would also be really cool. But
yeah,
that's gotta happen. That's gotta happen, Mattel. Come on.
Yeah, let's go for that. All right, so since I think we covered all that, why don't we move on to Jurassic World Rebirth? But before that, let's shout out to Jurassic Horit 2003. It says, I used to like Jurassic World Dominion, but now, not anymore. 65 movie is better than Dominion. I have to completely disagree with that. I don't think 65 is all that good. Let me go back because I don't remember what I exactly rated it. 65.
I've not seen 65, but I find it hard to believe. I just find it hard to believe that anything in 65 beats the motorcycle chase sequence from Dominion.
So I had written here, my review is not as abhorrent as Jurassic fans would lead you to believe. A perfectly serviceable dinosaur flick with some fun/silly designs. Adam Driver is always fun to watch, and his journey was enough for me to be invested. Also, where this film ends up is exciting to see. So that was
now,
my
Brad,
3
let
stars.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Did you write a review for The Last Jedi or Dial of Destiny?
Dial of Destiny, yeah, for sure. I don't know if I did it for The Last Jedi in here. Why?
I just want to make sure that we can trust your taste in some of these films.
Okay, well, what do you think the correct taste for Dial of Destiny is? Because I'm gonna have some harsh words for you.
Dial of Destiny was a fun but completely forgettable Indiana Jones film.
That's your opinion.
That doesn't even commit to the atrocities that happened in Indiana Jones 4.
What do you mean? If fully committed.
No, it doesn't.
In the most beautiful, heartbreaking way possible. It's so like the connection between those two movies is brilliant, and it validates it, and it clearly shows that we can't have this character return in a certain way, so we're just gonna talk about it in a different way, and it worked so well. I thought beautifully, and forgettable. I don't know what you're talking about, man. It's one of the most memorable movies that I've seen recently. It's so good. One of my favorite movies.
That's probably like as you're talking about it and how great it fits with 4. I'm just like, you know what? He could totally be right, but I don't remember any of Dial of Destiny, like at all.
Well, you need to watch movies more than once. That's your problem.
I guess
I saw it 3 times in the movie theater. It's awesome. It's my 3rd favorite Indiana Jones, behind Last Crusade, Raiders, Dial of Destiny, Crystal Skull, and then Temple of Doom.
Wow. Temple of Doom's at the end?
Yeah, it's just okay. It's just okay.
Oh, man.
See, I don't think that...
Yeah, I might have.
I don't... Aaron
let's put it here. I'll
watched
tell you
Destiny
what.
with his Luna Lovegood glasses on.
I'll tell you what. I've actually seen Dial of Destiny twice.
Okay.
But the first time we went to a drive-in theater, and the experience was so bad, like 10 minutes in, that I just like, I was kind of being a jerk, but like I literally was like, I just put earbuds in and like listened to music at like full blast and closed my eyes for 2 hours because I was just like, this experience is bad. Like, like the movie aside, I was just like, this isn't how I want to experience this movie in case it's amazing.
Was it the
and
first
so
viewing?
That was my first viewing.
Oh,
the second, then I just waited. I just waited for it to come out.
Why did you do that? Why didn't you just leave?
Because I was with people.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You know, the drive-in experience is really enticing, and I love going to the drive-in, but there is that, like, there's a bit of stress involved in, like, making sure you're seated correctly, you've driven into the spot correctly, and you've got a good view, and your sound is right, and you're not worried about other people on the outside of their cars or their sound is echoing off of your sound. There's a lot of anxiety-inducing things that happen, I feel like, at a drive-in. And like a lot of times, like we'll bring our kids to the drive-in just because it's a fun experience. Well, it seems like it would be a fun experience, but you know, they end up crawling around the entire car. They're talking too loud in the vehicle, and it's like sometimes it's just like very difficult of an experience.
I had never been to a drive-in, and so I just assumed that you turned your radio on and got the sound, but it was like, I don't know, it was like distorted. People treated it, and maybe it's a cultural thing, but like around here, people treated it more like a tailgating situation rather than like sit in your car and watch through the front windows. People like were just like opening up their hatchbacks and stuff. And like, so yeah, like you said, you got the sound times 1,000, which means you can't hear anything because it's echoing. And I remember saying to my wife, like, if I just had like a personal radio that I could like plug into my ears, this might be like an okay experience.
As long as the because like sometimes it's a little staticky, like you're listening to it on AM radio, and it's not the most perfect experience. But like, if you have a handheld one, that's what we did. We brought a handheld one, and you can go sit outside the car if you want. But yeah, it's not the greatest experience. So don't go to a drive-in seeing the movie you've been waiting to see for so long. You know, it's kind of a rough experience.
And that might have been it. Maybe you and I should watch Dial of Destiny as like just as a thing. And you explain to me why it's great and why it redeems 4 and
we'll be crying the entire experience because it brings me to tears how good that movie is. Fully. But also I did see Wicked this past week in 3D. So I was thinking about you. And it was not intended that way. We had to cancel our first tickets, which was at a Dolby screening. And it was just like, you know, it was like the best sound, best visual. And then we had to buy separate tickets later on for a different screening, different day. And we had to buy 3D. So we were like not ready for it. I was like, oh, the kids are going to be okay with the 3D. I don't know. But I thought it looked pretty good. I thought it looked great. There was nothing like crazy, but I thought stood out nice and easy and it looked good. So, and again, like most of them, I feel like you just, once you're in there for a little while, especially for 2 hours and 40 minutes, you kind of just forget after a little while, you know? I had 2 glasses on. I forgot to put my contacts in. I was wearing these glasses and then I was like, oh God, I had to wear 2 glasses. So
I haven't been to a 3D movie.
I didn't really think they did them all that much anymore. Like I thought they were kind of like going away.
I think the last one I saw was Jaws.
Oh yeah.
Because they did Jaws in 3D. That was the last one I worked on, and then they released it like 6 months after I left. But like, I might have seen Jurassic Park in 3D as well. I'm not quite sure because I know they re-released that for like the 30th anniversary or something. Yeah, they still do them. I think the strikes, just like I said, I don't think they were unaffected by the strikes either. Like it just whole industry really took a hit. But anyway,
Wicked's
this is not
my
3D
movie of the year too.
Indiana Jones podcast.
No, this is the time we're going to talk about the new Universal movie, Wicked, because that movie's incredible, and I just hope that Jurassic World Rebirth learns any kind of lesson or does anything similarly to Wicked, because everything about that movie is flawless. Look, it's built on such a great story to begin with, but visually stunning, the acting stunning, great stuff. It was flawless, and I hope that Jurassic World Rebirth can do the same. It just be that good. Going to be difficult, but
didn't you feel that Jurassic World really lived up to what it needed to be when it came out?
I don't think it's very tough for any story to be as good as Wicked for me. Anything, literally anything. Wicked's one of my most favorite things ever.
Okay.
But Jurassic World, I think, did a great job. It was very good. Very, very good. It didn't touch Wicked, though. I'll be honest.
The thing with Wicked, I mean, I can only see the trailers, but like when I watch those trailers, I'm like, this was designed by people that love this story or this Broadway musical or like whatever Wicked is. All right. I think it's originally just a Broadway musical. Yeah.
It was a book, actually.
Oh, it was a book?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It feels, though, like when you look at the production quality of that film,
mm-hmm.
It's just like everything just looks perfect.
Yeah.
And looks like it had so much love put into it. Whereas like when I look at Jurassic World, I'm like, there's some love here, right? But then I look at Jurassic Park 3 and I'm like, this is a cash grab, right? Like they just were like owed a Jurassic movie, right? And so I don't know. Wicked 96% audience score on. The thing is, like, I probably won't see Wicked. Although I think my wife might want to see it, so I think maybe I will see it. But like if it was just up to me, I probably would bypass it. I've never seen the play. I've never read the book.
I
didn't particularly love the way that poster artist online got ridiculed by the main actress.
That was an interesting situation for sure.
I thought that was just straight up gross by an actress. Like,
I see like what the person who did. I haven't looked into that whole thing too much, but like, the fan base has been so excited about this movie for a long time, and based off of this musical and everything, that somebody just wanted to, I guess, make something that looked like the original thing. But I can also see why maybe she would think that people are erasing her from things, and you gotta understand that this is much bigger. Listen. This is much bigger than one picture. It goes way deeper than that. There's a lot more that.
I think it goes deeper than that if you want to read.
No.
It goes deeper than that if you want to read into that.
No, dude. There's so much out there about how she's getting erased from marketing, from people talking about the movie, from so much stuff. So I can understand how it would kind of build a lot of pressure to that situation for her. I'll fight you on this.
I just think that it's. Oh, we don't need to talk about this on this podcast. This is maybe an after show discussion. It just hit me wrong. And as of right now, Wicked has other problems, whereas like all their toys are advertising.
Oh gosh. Well, that's Mattel for you. Hey, Beyond the Gates, right here.
Yeah, Mattel. Where's my website? That golly, what would they even send you to?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's talk about Jurassic World Rebirth. And we don't have a trailer for this. I thought for sure that it would be popping up before Wicked, to be honest. I think it felt like the most natural place, Universal movie. Get it in there, with your own studio. Promote a movie with Jonathan Bailey in both movies. Get some hype for that guy who's who's in the movie you're about to see, Wicked. He's in this movie that's coming out next summer. He's in this movie right now. What?
Jeff Goldblum?
No, Jonathan Bailey, the guy who's in Wicked. He plays Fiyero, and he's in Wicked. Also, Jeff Goldblum's in it. So it's like, Jeff Goldblum, blah, 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 Jonathan Bailey.
What is Jeff Goldblum in Rebirth?
He's in Wicked. No, but like I could see like a handing down of the mantle of some sort in a trailer for Wicked, but also for Jurassic. Or in my eyes, I would have seen it as one of those pre-trailer things where they do like a little, little introduction for the upcoming movie, and then have Goldblum and Jonathan Bailey there together talking about, oh, you're about to see Wicked, but next summer you can see my good friend here who's going to be taking over as a new lead. I'm not going to be there this time, but something like that where I could see him introducing, the upcoming Jurassic World Rebirth.
Did Gareth Edwards finish Rogue One? Was he the first and ending director on that?
So they say, but there's a lot of Tony Gilroy has said directly that it was a mess. It was a terrible mess, that movie, and he had to come in and fix the whole thing. And he did continue on with the Andor TV show. So, I don't know, but it sounds Tony Gilroy. So it sounds like Gareth, maybe was a little bit of a mess. That was a movie where the trailers are drastically different than some of the things that actually happen in the movie.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if we should compare, because I think your first trailer, I think we're getting the Godzilla treatment. Do you remember that trailer?
No, I don't.
Oh my God, dude. It's just that trailer is parachuters, paraglide, whatever they are. I don't know. Guys that jump out of planes. They just jump out of a plane into fog and smoke. And then it's just this slow buildup of this vocal chorus. I do remember 2 solid minutes. Yeah. And it's just guys falling out of the sky and or falling through the air. And it's just this slow buildup of nothing that's amazing with the music and the visuals of basically darkness. Then you see this massive wide shot of these guys with their with their flare guns or whatever, falling from the sky. And then you go back to the point of view of the guys and you just see blades moving through the fog. And then it's Godzilla. It's that is the coolest trailer. I think that's probably one of the coolest trailers to ever be released. And so I'm wondering what the Rogue One trailer, the first teaser, was like. And I'm wondering if there's a history of how Gareth likes his teasers.
I mean, there was a teaser trailer for a long time ago of shots of jungle, and it was radio chatter, of oh my God, come on, cutting in and out of gotta, and you hear blaster firing and stuff like that, and then you see TIE fighters or something flying up overhead, and that was pretty much it. It then just cut out. And that was a really, really, really early teaser. So I could definitely see something very similar to that. That's kind of what I expected to be happening, not a full-blown trailer. I always imagined that would come for the Super Bowl. But yeah, I'm still kind of perplexed. So Thanksgiving's coming up tomorrow. I haven't heard a single thing, so I'm not going to say that there will be. But I think that would be a great place. I know NBC has a football game on, and in the prime time, there is a nighttime game. So great place to drop one if you wanted to, a little teaser. They tend to do that kind of thing for a lot of big movies, for big football games and stuff. So
yeah,
we'll see. But I haven't heard a single thing about that. But yeah, I guess I don't know what's coming out in the near future that would be interesting enough for them to drop a trailer in. But I don't know what to expect at this point, really.
I mean, the movie comes out in this year, right?
What?
When does the movie come out?
Next year, man. Do you know what time of the year it is?
No. Well, I mean, it comes out
December.
2025, right? This coming year.
Yes. It's not that we're not in that year yet, but yeah. Do you know
No,
what
I
year
know,
it
but
is?
like this coming year, 2025,
Yeah,
the year of
yeah.
our Lord, 2025. Like it's coming up, so like we're 6 months away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
7,
you're right. We got to see something.
8. Yeah, you'd think so. Muslim here says, "I wonder if CCXP will have anything for Rebirth." Yeah, that's very possible. I think, but a lot of times that stuff isn't really shown, right? Like, I feel like we
What's
don't.
CCXP?
It's I forget. What is that? Where is it at?
Cretaceous
Muslim?
extra power.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. No, it's like some convention that's
All right, fair enough.
I don't know what it's in, like Brazil, I think. I think it's Brazil. And
Speaking of
speaking of Brazil,
speaking of things that people create with love, have you watched One Piece yet?
no, probably no,
Oh,
probably
dude.
won't.
How do I get you to watch One Piece?
I don't know.
Brad, I think anime is stupid, and I think One Piece might be the best show ever made.
Wow, really? That's hard.
Like
when Midnight Mass and The Last of Us exist, and so many other things.
I didn't feel that Last of Us was very, very good. And the moment that you're waiting for in the final episode is just by far the coolest. Like I remember watching that moment and being like, this is one of the greatest moments of my life.
Yeah.
But having never seen anything One Piece wise, never playing a game, never watching a cartoon, like none of that stuff. As I'm watching that show, I'm like, there is genuine love in every single frame of this show. Like, I don't know, man. Like, and that to me just amplifies just how good it was. Anyway, Jurassic Park.
Speaking of
Rebirth,
One Piece, what do you think of the article that Empire has nothing to do with One Piece? The article that Empire put out that talked a little bit about the tone of the new movie, and Gareth Edwards had mentioned that this is going to be kind of like an action horror movie, and much like Jurassic Park. Do you consider Jurassic Park to have been an action horror movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. More so than action adventure, I consider it to be action horror.
It's the action part that I really struggle with, I think, because while there is certainly some action in there, it doesn't like fully feel like an action movie for me. So to me, it's always been like an adventure movie, with other elements sprinkled throughout. So horror for sure is in there.
Would be considered adventure horror? Is that like its own little subsect of genre?
Well, I don't even know if it's just that. I feel like it's much more like broad. There's so many more other things that you can kind of include in there. But I certainly think action's part of them. It's like adventure. There's action. There's horror. There's sci-fi elements. There's all kinds of stuff. So I don't really. It's not like the easiest film to kind of pinpoint what it is. But this excites you though, the action horror of it all, right?
Yeah, I mean, here's what I like about what Gareth says in this article, and I kind of. Sorry, that's my oven timer.
Oven. I said your laundry's done.
No, it's definitely, we have the world's worst oven timer. Oh my gosh, it's still going.
It's okay. Go. Just keep going.
Oh, she stopped it. Thank God. We hate that thing. Here's what he says. And so, like I said, like I think for Jurassic World, I think Trevorrow understood what we were looking for. Like I got kind of a love of the wonder of Jurassic Park, plus mixed with like a little bit of like the Saturday morning cartoon Kenner Toys thing. I think even after the original movie came out, I remember doing like a post on Facebook at the time, being like, "Oh my gosh, thank you for bringing my childhood to life." And it was like I grabbed like, golly, like 10 images from trading card art and toy art that he had put in that movie. And like it was like very obvious that this was kind of where the imagery came from. Mm-hmm. But like what was missing from all of those movies, I think, was the horror darkness elements to it. And I think Gareth Edwards does a really good job of combining. He does a really good job of making a compelling movie about things you already know about, but like makes them mysterious and like kind of cool again and scary again. In the realm of like Godzilla. And he says something that I guess I've always felt, but I've never really pinpointed. And he says, there's something kind of mythical about dinosaurs, yet real, you know. He says, when we catch up with a few pieces later, he wraps the shoot, and he says, the fact that they really did exist means you can't dismiss them as a threat. When other films try to scare you, you can fob them off and say, well, there's no such thing as monsters. There's no such thing as monsters, like, end quote. Just basically meaning, like, as a kid, you're like, like aliens, like, whatever. At least it's fake. It's scary, but it's fake. Like, I know that the alien xenomorph isn't real, right? Like, I know that the Terminator's not real. But as a kid seeing Jurassic Park for the first time, and I guess maybe you have to put your mind in a very small subsect of children and just people alive today. Brad, like before Jurassic Park, I mean, I don't know what your experience was, but dinosaurs were kind of these goofy, upright walking lizards in textbooks at school and in coloring books, right?
Yeah.
And then they were like these real, breathing, dangerous, fast animals in Jurassic Park. And that was scary as a kid because it took something that we were like so comfortable with seeing every day. And for the time, they were like, no, this is what they were like, you know? And so I think he's right. I think there is something scary about dinosaurs because, I mean, can you prove that dinosaurs don't exist today in that sort of form? Like the Amazon is how many acres unexplored, you know? It's almost like it's like
they could be out there.
Right. Somewhere. There is a chance that this animal is out there just waiting for you to cross its path, you know? And I think that's what's kind of neat about like Velociraptor or something, you know?
Yeah. There's that shot actually is in Jurassic Park 3. It's so cool, but they're inside the whatever that place, that building is that they first go into, and they pick up the lab, whatever, and they pick up the phone, and they like, there's no signal, you know, so they put the phone down, so they kind of like, let's move on to the next room, and as they do that, like behind Amanda, a raptor silhouette just like sprints across the screen, and you can barely see it. It's like half a second long. It's just that kind of terrifying, you know, feeling, right? That like there's something that could be running behind you at any point and just burst through the pipes and, you know, just get you, just pop through the ceiling and, you know, whatever. So I think it definitely sounds like he's on the right track, right? It sounds like he understands that it should be scary, that there's going to be action. He talks a lot about the set pieces, the big set pieces and stuff. So to me, like the big set pieces in Jurassic Park, though, like whether it's the T-Rex paddock, like I don't even consider that like an action scene, right? It just, to me, it's just.
Well, it's horror. Is it not? Is that not horror?
It's kind of horror, thrilling scene. It's not an action scene, even though there's plenty of action to be had, I guess. But it's just like, it's just one location, different angles, whatever. I would love to get back to that kind of thing where we're not like, it's not like a motorcycle chase, which I love the motorcycle chase in Dominion. It's incredible. I love that whole thing, that whole sequence. We're traversing an entire island, basically. But I love when Jurassic is just one spot and you're stuck there. That's so cool. So hopefully we kind of have those big action set pieces, but are also stuck within them. Because I think that's when things really excel, whether it's the kitchen or the paddock, or you're kind of stuck in just the visitor center. And then you're kind of, you've got a big action set piece within. Now that to me is an action set piece, right? You're jumping off onto these skeletons. They're falling. The raptors jumping onto them. All the pieces are falling. People are falling. And then the raptors are cornering them. And then the T-Rex comes in. Like, it's a whole big action set piece. So I hope we get stuff like that where it's situated in one location. So that would be cool. That's my hope, at least for the action portion of it. Because, what are the action sequences? Even if you think about like the Main Street fight in Jurassic World, incredible sequence, but it takes place on the entirety of Main Street. It starts on one end, goes all the way down to the other end, crashing through buildings and all kinds of crazy stuff happening. So it's there's a lot of movement there, I think,
Right. It's not claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that's where the first two movies really succeed. You're right. It's that, we're trapped in a trailer. Like,
yeah.
And unlike Jurassic Park 3, where, no, we're trapped in a plane for 30 seconds. No, the trailer scene is like relentingly long. Long.
Yeah.
Like, it's like they're trapped in that thing. And then not only can they not get out, but now they're hanging over a cliff. Now they've only got glass between them and basically bone-destroying rocks.
Take the same thing, but make it worse. That's
right. Exactly.
Much,
like, exactly.
Like, we're in the car the entire time, like in the T-Rex paddock. Oh, and now the car's upside down, and now the car's getting pushed over the cliff. And then later on, you're in the car again in a tree. Like, so there's just like a lot of
Yes, exactly.
Very
it's like the car
contained.
Is the car is your nightmare for a solid 15 minutes.
Yeah. So I hope there's more contained moments like that, and even honestly, like the Jeep chase. Yes, there's a lot of movement. You're going through the jungle, but like the jungle itself is not a focal point. You're just down a dirt road. And the T-Rex is next to the truck, and the truck is there, and it's wide open. The people aren't going anywhere. It's, if you think of, speaking of Indiana Jones, you've got a chase sequence on trucks just the same, basically, through the jungle. But the jungle's very visible and very, like, you can see too much of it. It's too bad looking. And then, then he goes from one vehicle to the next, and then back to the other vehicle, and then up into the vines, and then we're in the vines in the trees. So there's like a lot of too much movement, I think, in like a sequence like that. So narrowing it down to like one spot, one position is pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't read this full article, but like as I skimmed through it, he talks about Monster Island. Like, okay, so like clearly, come on, like we're back on an island, right? Like
I wanted to talk about that too, because that quote or that part of it where it says Monster Island antics, it's outside of the quotes, so I don't, but it is in its own little like quotes. I don't know if that means like he said that at some point or what. I'm not really sure what that is in reference to. So they do mention, it's going to be a mission movie with some classic Monster Island antics. But whether that came from him or not, he did mention stuff about monsters previously somewhere. But I don't know. I hope. I mean, we've talked about this plenty. That we've kind of had conversations that maybe this is a true Monster Island. Like it is deformed dinosaurs that are, the initial batch or something like that. Like that is something we've definitely talked about quite a bit. So this could be a Monster Island of sorts. And if it's the same, if it's a different island, I could definitely see that being a possibility. If it's the same islands, that would be kind of weird. I don't know how you'd get there, but
I really feel like they are evoking Isla Sorna in Yeah, just these two images that they've got. I mean, I know there can be tall grass anywhere, but like,
That's the funniest thing, dude. I can't believe they're not promoting this with anything. I mean, I know that we've gotten this photo down here of Mahershala Ali, but it's just it's just nighttime. You can't see really much of anything. But every other image, there's been 3 to 4 images of just long grass. It's so funny to me that they can't find anything else to promote other than this field. So yeah.
I think I think it's purposeful.
Why? What are they hiding? You think they're hiding something? Are they playing a game with the audience? Because
I think they're basically like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It just feels like they're trying to like tell you we're going back to Sorna, which is so stupid. I know that's so stupid. That's like, if you showed me a bare field with some pine trees, I'd be like, oh, it's Sorna, right? Like, which I'm also looking at this gun she's holding.
Mm-hmm.
What a baller weapon this thing is.
Do you think it's a weapon?
No, it's a tranq dart, clearly.
Is it a tranq dart or is it a gathering?
An extractor?
Extractor, yeah. I mean, it's empty. So to me, that looks empty unless it's a clear.
Well, that's just because they haven't paid the $50 million to put fake juice in it. With CG.
No, I definitely like thinking about how that would work. It's gonna do some transformery thing, right? Where it shoots into the dinosaur and it goes, and then it just starts extracting
lame
dino DNA.
I hope not. Gross.
And then it pops off like it has and it just like pops itself off the dinosaur and leaves it in the jungle with a beacon, blinking on it.
The only thing I don't like about what I'm reading here is that they say like they have to go gather DNA from the 3 of the chonkiest species to benefit humanity. Like that's what Jurassic Park 3 felt like to me, was like, we have 3 new dinosaurs that we want to sell toys of. And so we're going to create 3 set pieces or 3 different movies around these 3 species, even though it just feels disjointed and weird. Like Jurassic Park and The Lost World were like, Jurassic Park was 6, but they were a mix of like wonder and horror. And and Jurassic, by the time you get to Jurassic Park 3, it is like, no, we have the horror pteranodons, the horror Spinosaurus, and the horror Velociraptor, and that's it.
Don't forget the horror Brachiosaurus.
Well, yeah, we can never forget.
Yeah,
never forget. But
yeah,
I don't know. This just feels to me like they're like, we've got 3 new toys that we need to make, and so we're going to do 3 set pieces evolving around these horrific animals.
Yeah, I mean
I don't know.
That came from the original synopsis, right? Like the fact that that's what they're after. I always laugh that every time I read this that they just kind of rephrase the synopsis in their own like silly Empire Magazine way. So that made me laugh, but especially the chonkiest species for the benefit of humanity. Yeah, I'm still just like wondering what that means and what do these big dinosaurs have to do with that? And yeah, and you know, I did start to go down the road of like thinking about Rebirth again. And so much of what we have always talked about is like just signaling to the audience what's going on. But like, I don't feel like we've done a lot of talking about the title itself and what it really, really could mean for the movie, if there is any meaning to gather.
Okay.
So, you know, we've talked a lot about just like, we want the audience to know that this is new. This is a rebirth for the franchise. It's got the sunrise in the logo. It's got, you know, it's just something new. But like, let's say it actually pertains to the movie, like very deeply. Like, what do you have any semblance of an idea of what that could be for this? And maybe, I don't know, is there something from those 3 big dinosaurs, like, because we're gathering DNA? Is there what is the rebirth here? Like, I've been trying to think about that a little bit, and it's hard. I don't really know. And my mind keeps going down like, the like dino human hybrid rebirth kind of route, and I don't want to go that way. But like, what
No, I
is
don't
the
want you to
rebirth
either,
itself?
especially after there's a very recent movie where that did not work. And was like great movie, just horrible ending.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's a way to go for this series for sure. But like, if rebirth has a meaning, what do you have any idea what that would be?
I feel like you and I did maybe talk about this a little bit, and I don't remember what I had said. Something. And more immediately, a big pharmaceutical company. I don't want to like get political, but there's no way that they crap on pharmaceutical companies in this movie. Like, I just don't think there's any way.
But haven't they been since the start?
Who?
Like Biosyn and stuff like that, and
is Biosyn a pharmaceutical company?
Bioengineering, I guess. But like, I feel like this is all entangled together, right? Like there's something that they could all do. And even Dominion talked about, I don't know if they were strictly like pharmaceutical company or anything, but they did talk about stuff like life-saving benefits. So yeah, but I don't know. You think they're going to bend over to pharmaceutical companies, Universal?
I think
they just want their health insurance to be good. Like good prescription plan.
They're trying to save humanity, right? So the rebirth. I mean, maybe rebirth has nothing to do with Jurassic World. Maybe it's the rebirth of humanity mixed with dino DNA. Like, did we have this conversation? I feel like we went down this road.
We've talked about some stuff, but I feel like we haven't really gotten deep into the rebirth, like meaning too much. I don't know, but I think one of the things that they focused on a lot is the dinosaurs relocating, right? Is there anything there? Do you think there's anything there for dinosaurs? Like, if dinosaurs were killed off on Nublar, and they will keep wanting to lead us to believe that maybe there's nothing on Sorna or anywhere else for that matter, that they're all in, they've all gone to California, branched out from there. Maybe there's some gone overseas and whatnot. And we did see that in Chaos Theory, right? So there's other places where there are dinosaurs. But if they're all relocating to like equatorial, whatever, is there some rebirth of dinosaurs in these locations? Is it like, I don't know, like a renaissance for dinosaurs? Like that they couldn't, oh, there goes the camera, bye-bye. They couldn't find like the best place to be, and now they're in their rebirth like era. I don't know. Like I don't really know what that could mean for the dinosaurs themselves. So that's why I always keep going back to like humans and stuff like that. And yeah.
Let me ask you this. I don't like how it says in parentheses, and more immediately a big pharmaceutical company. So let me ask you this.
Yeah, and that is in reference to a benefit for humanity. But no, more immediately, it's the benefit for the pharmaceutical company.
For the pharmaceutical company. So let me ask you this. Is a human dinosaur hybrid, is it okay for a one-off villain? They do that in this one movie, and then we never see it again. Is that an acceptable path to go down?
Yeah, I think we did talk about this in reference to like maybe Spider-Man. Speaking of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I feel this is coming back to me now. But the big fear of the human dinosaur hybrid was just that was going to be like the new direction of Jurassic Park. Like once we saw that, and I guess I never looked at it as like, no, that was just going to be like some weird villain thing they did for one film, and it would have been way out of place, I think, for Jurassic Park 4. But we now have a franchise where cloning humans is just normal. And even though they explained it away in, thank God, a somewhat realistic way.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, so technically
is
we haven't.
is a
really.
human dinosaur hybrid out of the question at this point?
No, I don't. I really don't think it's out of the question. I really don't think it is. I feel like it's kind of inevitable. But as far as a one-off villain, yeah, I mean,
If they just like get it out of their system, like, hey, we've got all these assets that we
thinking-
paid money for, we got to use them.
yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of things like The Last of Us and stuff like that, where like, you have, especially that under the hospital sequence in The Last of Us Part 2. There's like a crazy, monstrous thing in there. And what if we have a situation like that, right? Where we're trapped in a facility in this amazingly cool set piece where you've got no dinosaur villains in this moment, but you've got this human dino hybrid that's chasing you around the kitchen or something, I don't know. I think there's a
I could say this.
possibility.
I could say this with 99%. 99% confidence. If there's a human dinosaur hybrid in this movie, this will be the end of this franchise. For sure.
Well, is it gonna?
Like-
is it? I don't know if it'll be the end, but yeah, that's pretty. If it will
No,
be,
it'll be the end because
it'll-
what will happen is that word will get out, and I think that would turn. I think just that happening would turn people off. They'd be like, "All right, well then, peace. Like, I'm done." Like, and it doesn't make money.
Yeah, the Maisie stuff
And you have
really
to
set
think-
people off, so this would just push it over the edge for sure.
I mean,
I see it every time I try to describe it. Like for this pharmaceutical company, we talked about the guy who Martin Krebs is his name, and he's like, what if I keep trying to describe it in my head how to make this work, and every time it just comes off as a Spider-Man villain, because like, I'm thinking of like he can't get the FDA to sign off on his thing, and he's like, come on, I'll just inject it into myself. And he just, puts it into his arm, and then he turns into, whatever, the Green Goblin or Lizard or
Martin, we're
something.
taking the whole thing back to formula. Back to formula. Back to formula.
I can see Martin Krebs being like, yeah, I am somewhat of a scientist myself. Do
you know how much I've sacrificed? Best villain. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe, best
He's
villain.
so good.
I think,
He's
all
the best.
Time.
Yeah. And he killed it the second time around, too.
He was so good. Like, oh, he was so good. Dude, I'm sorry. I got to derail here for a second.
Oh, just for 1 second, yeah.
Brad, his version of Green Goblin was so good in No Way Home. All right. Brad, they were working with Hulk technology in No Way Home. What an absolute missed opportunity for that stuff to get injected into Willem Dafoe and him go green.
I know. I kind of thought he would turn full Goblin mode. Like that would have been cool. But I'm okay
I'm not
with
looking
it
for like a
because I like
roided
seeing
out
him.
CG Willem Dafoe, because I think that would be a mistake. But like some Wicked style green face paint and some enhanced like muscular suit, like a muscle suit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it already happened, so it's too late for that. But like, yeah, maybe that's what happens here. Maybe it's just human turns green, and you got the muscle,
but even
suit,
that's
and it's just
over
Martin
the top.
Krebs.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Dude, you're already making the 7th installment to a franchise. If they go human dinosaur hybrid, it's over, and this is how it ends.
Yeah. Do we think David kept would be into that? Do you think that's something he would want to write? You know, it's an idea
Yes.
that's floated around for a while. You think that's something he would be writing?
Yeah, because I honestly, outside of the Jurassic movies, I mean, this is probably blasphemy to say, but like, what has David Koepp written that is like entrenched in cinematic dogma? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, this could just be a paycheck for him.
I hope not. Yeah, I don't know. Rebirth. What does this really mean?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I mean,
Are you trying to lead? Are you trying to lead me somewhere?
No, I have no idea.
knowledge?
I have no knowledge. I'm just, I'm just thinking about the little bit of information that they've given us, and like, do you think that somebody says the line in the movie, like, "This is a rebirth for humanity," like something. This is a rebirth for the dinosaurs. I don't know why I keep going back.
And
to
here's
the
why I
Goblin
don't
voice.
think that, because I think every Gareth Edwards movie I've seen takes its content seriously.
That's true. Yeah.
Like Rogue One, it's a Star Wars movie, but it's a war movie at its core.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's a war movie set in the Star Wars universe. It's not The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
right?
and I hope there's, like, they say that she's from the military, so there is going to be some aspect of that, and she's looking for meaning in her life. So I've wondered, like, what is it a rebirth for her? We talk about she's looking for meaning for her life. Is she just being reborn? Is there some element of that maybe mixed into it? I wonder what happened in her military career that she's now looking for whatever that meaning is. So I don't know if we'll see that aspect of it. I don't know if we'll see any, military dinosaurs next to her. Do you think we've gotten to that point where the implementation is in effect and they're utilizing the dinosaurs in the military and she's part of the operations expert, and that's why they've gotten her to come out? And because, like, why Scarlett, or why Zora Bennett? Like, why this character for this task?
So I think that something Jurassic World Live showed us was that you could use dinosaurs in the military and it be done well and tastefully. Like, if she has, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but if she has, like,
this whole conversation's been like, I don't want to talk about this, but we are talking about it.
If she has, like, a Gallimimus that's sole purpose is for speedy transportation around a treacherous terrain, and I mean, Gallimimus is big, right? It could carry a lot of, dude, you could probably saddle that thing with probably 3 times what a horse could straddle. Plus, you're not dealing with like a horse, like, it has hooves, right? So, like, you have to, like, kind of, its terrain is limited. The only goofy thing is going to be her jumping on its back and, like, riding off. But I can easily see, like, and I think Indoraptor, I don't know if it's a concept art or fan art, but, like, there's an art piece out there of, like, an Indoraptor just chilling with its handler and, like, just kind of basking in the sun, and to me, the Indoraptor felt like something like, yeah, you could probably, I'm not saying strap a laser to its head and have it, like, shoot things, but I think saddling these animals with supplies is something very realistic. We do it today.
Yeah. I can't imagine that they would just jump straight out of Owen being military guy, close, relationship with dinosaurs, to military girl, close relationship with dinosaurs. I can't imagine that that's going to be the case. They did mention that this character was written, like, non-gender specific, so it could have been anybody. could it have just been like, hey, we could just do Owen, like we could just have Owen again. I'm sure that they probably had those conversations at some point, but yeah, I don't know. I wonder what her military background is and why she would be the one chosen for it. You know, is there something? Is this going to be like called like Operation Rebirth? You know, 'cause the rebirth of humanity without the downfall. You know, or without the I don't know, without cancer or without whatever. You know, it's the rebirth of humanity, Operation Rebirth. Like, I'm trying to think of any possible way they could utilize it.
It just seems almost like there's like a lot of recycling happening.
I know
Of
that's
like
the
old
that's
ideas.
the problem.
And like this did like some of this reminds me of like the was it Tim Sale's script or whatever?
John
Sales. Some of it feels like that. Some of it feels like, yeah, this could have been an Owen movie. Some of it feels like we were making a movie during the pandemic about a pandemic and then had to like completely change course. Well, it's 5 years after the pandemic. Maybe we can revisit that script again, or those ideas. What do you think of this? Does she have a dinosaur sidekick? And the reason I ask this is that think about how massive Owen and Blue were in all of the marketing for all of the Jurassic World movies, right? Like the box was
still being used
right,
currently,
like still being used.
Shout out to the toy chat. What is it we call this thing nowadays? I'm not going to mention what it's called, but but there was a picture shared today of Target, and they've still got Blue and Rexy right there on the end cap of the toy section at Target. So still going strong. So yeah, you're right. Like they're what is the replacement for Blue and Rexy? Like, because so far
Beta?
no dinosaurs. Like, nothing. We haven't seen a dinosaur. We don't know anything officially.
Like when he says in this article, there are dinosaurs that would be a crime against humanity not to put in this movie. Mm-hmm. Is Blue considered one of those dinosaurs now?
I don't think he would say that. Blue would absolutely not be a crime against humanity.
He says it in the thing. He's like, there's certain species.
No. I know he says that, but I don't think he would say that Blue is a crime against humanity.
Fair enough. Okay. All right.
To me, it's just been T-Rex and Velociraptor.
Right. Agreed. Yeah.
I don't think think really there's another one that you could throw in there. I don't think Brachiosaurus would be. I don't think Triceratops would be. Stegosaurus. Sure, they could still be in the movie, but I don't think those would be the crime against humanity.
I mean, I think Gallimimus has been in all 6 movies so far, so let's keep that one going. It is the coolest dinosaur, after all. I'm not gonna lie, man. If you were like, Aaron, I need you to go into the jungle, I'm taking a Gallimimus.
You just lasso it.
It's just super fast. And like what worries me, and I know we all have this like worry, because we always talk about like, golly, I hope they don't ride a dinosaur. When you think of her like getting on a dinosaur's back, do you just immediately like picture like John Goodman surfing down a brontosaurus tail? Like no, that's
I picture Ben and Bumpy, and I picture some of the new characters from the new season of Chaos Theory doing that exact thing.
Gross.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite moment of the new season, but there was, I don't know, there was like with Bumpy and Ben, there was some connection between these characters, and I'm okay, it's fine, but yeah, I don't think that's going to be happening here. I don't see that she'll have a dino friend. Like, if they want to go like the baby raptor route and have like a baby raptor follow somebody around, I'd be totally cool with that.
I mean, dude, it was Blue. Then it was Stiggy Moloch. Do you remember Stiggy Moloch being like the big push for like the baby Yoda of?
Well, Baby Blue like, too. Dude, it was both of them.
And then it was Beta. Beta was the third.
Well, no, even just Baby Blue, like in Jurassic World
Oh,
Fallen
yeah.
Kingdom, and the other ones too. They were all over
Dude,
the
it was
place
like
too.
there were certain creatures that were like straight up designed to sell toys to little kids, and I'm just like, what is that going to be? They're going to have one.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Dude.
Baby Gallimimus?
No. Bro,
go ahead.
We're due for a young Tyrannosaurus Rex. We're due.
Do you think so?
I think the audience would be very excited in a trilogy watching a T-Rex go from human size to adult size.
Like,
whether or not it has loyalty
watching
to the
Baby
human,
Groot.
I don't know.
Yeah, we've gotten
But
that
I
with
think-
Groot, right? Like it's been successful, and it's been fun to watch Groot grow from big to small to bigger to chonk.
Bro.
You know?
To bro Groot.
Yeah.
I think the audience, like the way that I see how the audience reacts to Rexy, which to me is just the T-Rex, but to so many people it's Rexy.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this weird connection with a CG animal that doesn't emote. Like, it's not like King Kong, where King Kong like emotes and like you see Kong sad, right? But like the T-Rex is just straight up like chomping.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the audience would respond to that positively.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of cool to see transformation across like several movies. But I don't want that to happen because I want these to be like the original trilogy was or were, like to have Scarlett and Jonathan Bailey in this movie. And then the next movie, maybe you only get one of them. And then the movie after that, maybe you only get one of them. I don't think they're going to do that because they need to keep their synergy with these characters, with these big actors. Jonathan Bailey's going to be huge. They're not going to like let him just walk away, not be in the next movie. Like at this point, people expect these people to be in the franchise movie every time, but I really wish they wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. I just think like the movies would be better for it. But yeah, I don't know. I do think there will probably be some sort of small dinosaur in there that they can sell toys for. I don't know what it would be though. I don't know.
I think we're just due for a new Tyrannosaurus Rex that people can glob onto. Like,
yeah, I was saying it on the stream or somewhere that on the podcast maybe that I just want like a black and red T-Rex, like a dark T-Rex, a T-Rex that is like a villain for once, and not just like our savior, like the big T-Rex that always comes to save the day. I want a T-Rex that stalks, hunts, and kills you. Like that dark, scary T-Rex that I think would be so cool to see.
But like painted like the Red Rex?
No, painted like the Demon Carnotaur.
No, lame.
Get out of town, man. You're lame. The Red Rex is awesome. I do. Yes, I think I would also want that as well. But I do like the Demon Carnotaur paint. I think there was a paint like that in Evolution, wasn't there? Like a black and red or something?
Oh, I don't know. I know that the colors of the Carnotaurs in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, dude, those colors aren't by accident. Those colors were decided by an artist who had love of that toy, who had a childhood memory of that toy, and showed it to Trevorrow and was like, look, say what you want about black and red, but the fans will love this, and here's why. Like, it's just not an accident. Like, I'm sorry, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
That animal was red and black in those movies to harken back to that Demon Carnotaurus toy.
Not enough though for my liking. I
know you want like the stark like red and black contrast.
I want it to be Darth Maul of T-Rexes. You know,
No,
that's what I want.
Too far. Too far, man.
No, man, that'll sell toys because that's the current theme, right? Is if we got the demon, right, and then we also have there's an Atrociraptor with that paint job, there's a Pteranodon with that paint job, there's maybe something else with that paint job. So there's a lot right now currently that keep getting that paint job. Are they warming us up? I don't know.
What if Rebirth is? Oh, but Rebirth needs to save humanity, not this injection. I was gonna say, what if like I was gonna say like, what if the newer dinosaurs are so far removed from the original, like Doctor Wu serum or Doctor Wu mixture, that like the dinosaurs are straight dying because they've been so far designed outside of their original blueprint, but I don't feel like that fits with anything.
So wait, the Wu dinosaurs are dying because they're or some
Well,
other
like
dinosaur.
in Jurassic World, you're kind of led to believe that like the dinosaurs of Jurassic Park were like version 1, even though it makes no sense that like you would on version 1 have like great dinosaurs. But by the time you get to Jurassic World, you're kind of led to believe that he had like changed the mixture so much that like he had basically now they weren't dinosaurs, they were designed creatures, you know.
Yeah.
Like it would be interesting to see them kind of falling apart in
What
a way.
if
But then again, I'm like, well, humanity wouldn't really care, right? Because problem solved. The dinosaurs all just die and we go back to normal.
So in chaos theory, these dinosaurs are being spread purposefully around the world. What if like this pharmaceutical company wants to get these 3 big ones or maybe some others, I don't know. And maybe they're the ones like killing off these dinosaurs so they can have a rebirth of their own kind of dinosaurs. And they can be like, well, we killed them all off, so there's only one company left that can do it, and that's us. We've got the samples. We can cause the rebirth or something. I don't know. Like,
But
I
why
can
do
see
you
them like, yeah,
why do you want to rebirth dinosaurs
yeah,
in our world? Like
because
I don't know. I haven't seen
because
Chaos
we
Theory.
never learn from the mistakes of the past in any of the movies, you know.
I
Or real
guess
life.
I guess. Dark Rexy, says Steve. Yeah.
Let's go.
Dude, just a straight black T-Rex.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah, I don't know. This is such a tough one for me, man. This is like, I don't think this movie needs to be made. I like realistically,
at all?
like I get like, no,
You're out. It's fine.
It's just so weird. I don't know. I don't know why. I just got weird feeling about this. The only saving grace for this movie for me is Gareth Edwards, who again I think takes silly things and makes them real. And I feel like that's almost what Jurassic World was kind of missing, was the reality of it all. But even that seems unfair because there were like really stupid things that we were like told were going to happen in Jurassic World, and then Trevorrow did a great job of grounding them. Like, dude, just that shot of the raptors with the lasers on their heads and the motorcycle in between the I just remember being like, oh no, because in the original trailer we thought they were like lasers. And then you get to the movie and it's like, well, just calm down. They're GoPros, and that's a fairly common practice. Like,
yeah,
you know, we're going to GoPro these animals. And then
I've put him on my dog before. He's run around with GoPro on.
Right. And then like they did the whole thing where like, I was like, well, this is so stupid. Like these animals aren't like trying to kill Owen while he's in the middle of them. But they did the whole thing where like they gave them the scent or whatever of the Indominus. And it's like, okay, but that's what animals really, that's what like hounds do, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they don't care about anything between them and the target. They are after the target.
Yeah.
And I felt like Colin did a really good job of taking really stupid, silly things and at least trying to ground them.
Yeah,
But
I
I don't know.
definitely think he'll do
We'll
the
see.
same thing. I have no idea what any of this means, what it's all going to lead to. There's definitely more to the story that they're not sharing just yet. And I'm just ready for the next stage. You know, we've been talking so much about basically this, and then like just they give us like tiny little tidbits here and there, but it'd be nice to have a little bit more. I think we're ready for the next big reveal. So hopefully we get that pretty soon. We'll get a nice trailer somewhat soon, hopefully, and then give us more to talk about. But I
think we need some more to talk about.
we need less things to talk about. I had put just like a few little like bullet points here of things to say, and we touched on them, but like we went way farther than.
Well, say your bullet
I
points.
expected.
What were your bullet points?
Well, I wrote Beyond the Gates. I thought,
Oh,
what do you
okay.
think about the Creator Edition? What do you want to see from Beyond the Gates in the future?
Fair enough.
I wrote today's item. I wrote
we
Jurassic
did
World
it, Brad.
Rebirth, trailer,
Brad, we
action horror. What genre
sat
do
down
you think
for
this
our
new one
half-hour
will be?
conversation and went 2.5 hours.
Yeah, Monster
Good.
Island, and then I talked Rebirth title. What do we think it means? That's all I wrote.
Brad, when do we
did
get
it?
the movie? When do we get the movie called like Jurassic World Full Circle, where the dinosaurs have attracted a meteor to Earth that's going to wipe out
Ooh, so it's the dinosaurs.
all of life?
And maybe
Right,
there's
like
there's like a reverse, like there's like a company out there that wants to gather all the dinosaurs and just send them off into space because they think that the meteor's attracted to the dinosaurs.
What if we get a meteor heading towards Earth, and Jeff Goldblum goes,
Ooh,
God wants
yes.
these dead. God has told us he wants these dead.
God creates
And
dinosaurs.
he will.
God destroys dinosaurs. God sends dinosaurs into space.
No, so it would be God creates dinosaurs. God destroys dinosaurs. God creates man. Man destroys God. Man creates dinosaur. God destroys man and dinosaur. Like, God's just like, no.
Yeah.
Enough. I said
That's
no to
it.
these animals.
Yeah. Yeah, I told you the first time, but you didn't listen. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me for an extra long episode here today. And I'm sure you've got a lot of things to promote. What do you got going on? Anything?
Nothing.
You gonna join up on Blue Sky? You gonna come join the Twitter 2.0 on Blue Sky?
No, I've done the opposite. I've left all social media because I hate it all.
Oh.
And I just watch YouTube now.
Well, is it working? Is it good? You like YouTube?
My media diet got really nice during the election, I will say. Like, it wasn't, there was some left-wing stuff in there. There was some right-wing stuff in there. The only thing I don't like about YouTube is that it only promotes things that you recently subscribed to. And like, for instance, like I subscribed to the Jurassic Park podcast, probably 5, 6.
And it's never shown you any of the stuff that I've put up, right?
And it really does not promote your content. And I don't really understand why. Like, I'm sorry,
there's like 17,000 people out there following the page, but like 18 views.
It's because here's the thing, man. It's like, seriously, and this is a problem with YouTube. I feel like I'm subscribed to you. It should automatically serve me your video the second you post something. But it doesn't. And I'm on the TV app. Like, I'm not like diving into my web browser. I don't know. There's something wrong with the algorithm. And I think you as a YouTube creator and owner, right? Or creator, I guess, not owner, but like, it's someone who makes content for YouTube that is monetized, right? Like, there's commercials on your stuff.
Yeah.
I'm subscribed to you. They should be serving me that content every time.
Well, so YouTube, get your act together, please. What are you doing? We need your help.
It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous how that algorithm works.
Yeah. Well, you can't find Aaron anywhere except for here every so often. So keep your eyes peeled.
That's the plan. Exclusive,
right.
baby.
Yeah.
Exclusivity.
That's the good stuff. Let's go ahead and just again talk real quick about what was going on the website. You can check out some more conversation about this information in the latest episode right there. Go again, like I said, follow us on Blue Sky. We're on there now. It's probably going to be our main hub for the most part, where our conversation happens, because our good conversations always happen on Twitter, but then that place went really downhill, and now we're here. We tried Threads for a little bit. It was okay, but I feel like this is even better. So this is where I get to say, let me hold a baby raptor. Who do I need to speak to? That's the kind of content you're going to get from me. And then I am also on there as well. And then you can go follow the newsletter. Go do that. My other podcast, GGH, hasn't really done an episode since September, so we'll be back soon. We're just talking about some plans today. But the Forcecast is back and doing episodes all the time, so go listen to me talk about Star Wars every week over on the Forcecast. And this past week we talked about Skeleton Crew, our hype for that show, how we're feeling, how it looks. It looks pretty great, if you ask me. So go listen to that episode. That was from 2 days ago. But yeah, that's about it. So appreciate everybody tuning in this week. Aaron, thank you for joining me. And that's it. Bye, everybody.
Bye, buddy.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.